Today, we wanted to talk about how we help clients to save thousands of dollars in different scenarios.
Right. So, I mean, buying a home, people think I must have so much money down. And we've seen it again and again, to where people have walked into homes with almost zero, almost nothing. And how does it happen? Well, it does help with having someone knowledgeable completely on your side who is recognizing what is going on. And we're not telling you to buy the worst home in the block, in the worst neighborhood. That's not what we're talking about here. What we're talking about is different types of loans, understanding how the loans work, and understanding how homes would work and the value of the homes, the math of the homes, really simple as a way. And then we're going to break down a couple stories of how this has worked out for other clients in the past and how we try to help everybody in a way. You want to add anything?
No, basically here, as you said, we need to have the knowledge from real estate market, from the financing, and also to being real estate professional, knowing the aspect that home buying process.
Right, and how much money
it's like a triangle.
That last VA couple that you helped, how much money did they have to bring to closing?
$1,400.
Right, so my last VA clients that I also helped were very similar. It was like $900, just to give you an example. But before we get into like those numbers, we did talk about the numbers. Let's kind of talk the more story about that. Tell me this case story. Tell me about that, in general.
Therefore, there was this.
With the VA.
There was this couple that the husband was a VA, and they were living almost 13 years in rental, and since 2000.
Doesn't matter about that. Tell us how we saved the money.
And then we got them this house with the VA loan.
And it's a nice house too, in a nice area.
Exactly. And then what we did, we also asked for the closing costs. And as my wife said, you need to also see if the appraisal comes in the right on the money, no?
Right. So if you're looking at the hottest house in the market where they're going to get an overpriced offer, or at least an immediate offer, you're probably not going to get closing costs. But there's definitely houses out there to where we can talk about getting that home for $1,400. And what was that $1,400? It was the appraisal? What was it?
No, the $1,400 really was the VA, partially was VA funding fee that they need to pay, because that is how the VA charges for your closing costs.
And their type of VA loan required that VA funding fee be upfront, but that was literally the only thing they paid. The house got closing costs. It got everything else was covered. So they walked into a house with keys in their hand for $1,400. Now, for my clients, they were a little bit more, my last VA clients, I should specifically say, he was former Navy. He wanted to, and this is the thing, he wanted a house and he was worried about his credit. But he got approved with the credit, even though he was VA, but because he was VA, he got approved with the credit. But we had to sit by a house in a very under market, and he didn't really have closing costs. And honestly, he kept having fear of home ownership in some ways as well. So we got this house, full closing costs paid. We did end up putting a due diligence fee down. It was like $500. Due diligence is non-refundable in the state of North Carolina. It was a small due diligence because this home had been sitting on the market a really long time. So it wasn't like a new home. And then I want to say like the hottest home. But I want to say as well, for him, we got extra things involved. We got closing costs. We got some fixing. So the windows were a big repair that we needed to get fixed. So we added that to the offer of the house, which was amazing. What about USDA? Let's move on to a USDA.
You wanted to do our introduction?
Oh, yeah, let's do our introduction. So let's hit it. Hi, it's Alan Victoria. Welcome to our channel and podcast.
And if this is your first time in our podcast and YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe and get notified.
Also, you call text all the time, 252-327-3357. We love talking to you. Don't be shy. Also, grab our buyer's guide and seller's guide in the description below.
Now we wanted to talk about USDA. I know that you had many clients with the USDA loan. Can you give us an example, one of the USDA?
Absolutely.
That you helped with?
This lady was very determined. She wanted a home. USDA loan will allow you to include closing costs if it will appraise for that money, much like the VA. So she did put, for her house, she put $2,000 down in due diligence, but she ended up getting the house for nothing after that. She actually got $1,200 back at the closing table.
That was crazy.
So she ended up paying $800 for that house, even though she did put money down. She ended up getting back because the house appraised at more than what we said. So we found the house that fit exactly where she wanted to be. We ended up getting her a good deal, and to where she ended up getting money back at closing.
Therefore, in reality, as my wife said, the house should have some character, as it says, like the appraisal should come right on the money. Otherwise, not all the scenario is going to work out. No,
Absolutely.
because we wanted to make sure also we're using the right financing. And for example, USDA, not all the houses are eligible for the USDA.
And I want to point out, if these scenarios do not have to be old homes. I can get you homes in our area where the builder covers all the closing costs. And if you want brand new, the builder will cover all the closing costs to where you just have to come up with your down payment. With VA and USDA, that can be nothing. So you just have to pay the builder's fee. And I have seen the builder give money back at closing. So don't think you have to buy this old broken house. You can have a brand new home with these same scenarios.
Exactly.
But you have to have someone who understands the market and knows the market. That's where real estate agents come in. Because this is never going to be advertised online. Like, we can do all of these things because you have to have somebody who understands the nature of how these things work and how to negotiate and how to be in your favor. So we want to always make sure you're having the best people on your side.
Exactly.
Like us.
Do you want to add anything?
Call me.
Call us at 252-327-3357. Looking forward working with you, Alan Victoria, and see you next podcast and video.